Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people, right? You want people to care. You want to strike emotions, and I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one
quarter
too.
pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah, I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice up my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host Dave.
And John.
JD is in the car.
Yes, he's mobile. He's the man on the street. He's going to get us the word of what's going on in the world, right?
What's going on is I had to pick up a 6-year-old from a thing. So this is the dedication that I have. I'm trying to make everything work. Being a parent is tough.
It is, you know.
And it's hard to own a dog.
It is hard to own a dog, little buddy. Thanks for dropping.
And own a dog. Okay.
Oh my God, want a taco?
So how is JD and Andy doing?
We're good. I'm going to order dinner, so skip to me and go to John next.
Oh, okay. Well then, how's John doing? So JD can order dinner.
And on to JD. Go. No, yeah. I'm working way too much for some reason. And I'm usually the person at work telling other people not to work too much. I did watch, was it Turning Red on Disney?
I didn't watch it. I didn't realize I thought that was going to the theaters. I didn't realize that was a Disney Plus thing.
Yeah, I didn't know too. I was so like, I took a break on Saturday just so I could be ready to work 7 days this week. And I needed something to watch. And, you know, I was snuggling on the couch with the massager on, and Turning Red popped up as one of the suggestions from the Fire HD thing.
Were you cuddling with the cats?
No, the cats aren't allowed in my man cave downstairs.
Oh my God, the poor cats.
It's a dander-free place. But Turning Red, the beginning makes you feel like this might not go well, and then it goes well. So like there's a little too much fourth wall breaking. A little too much narration in the beginning, but then all that goes away and the story progresses, and it's pretty good. You know,
cool.
Very, very, very body affirmative. Very good show for kids.
You know what though? Like any kind of, I'll call it a werewolf story where you turn, one person turns into something else. That is a good time to try to say, do a body positivity story. You know what? I got to say something on air right now. Hilton, you fucking suck.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope the kid didn't hear that.
What did Paris do this time?
No. So
I got headphones.
I stayed at a Hilton not too long ago, and they keep aggressively calling my phone, trying to sell me like a vacation package. I don't answer, but it's just like, oh my goodness. Like it's like twice a day now, and it's always a different phone number, but the caller ID says Hilton.
Oh, dude, you think that's bad? Try refinancing your mortgage. I like an idiot. I signed up with LendingTree, and I had to turn my phone ringer. I had to turn it off for about a week and a half there because I was getting so many calls. And yeah, just like you, it's like, you know, it's the same person calling it's the same company calling with 5, 10, 20 different numbers because they figured that's the way to make you answer because you don't know who it is. You know, not all of them are registered. It's just, it sucks.
It's scummy, man. All these stupid numbers that call you. Like I go through my delete, like I've got so many numbers blocked now that I have to check my blocked call email.
Yeah.
and delete them every week because like I keep getting notifications. Oh, your email, your voice message is full. I'm like, how? Oh, geez, and there'll be like 70 of them on there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so annoying. All right, is dinner ordered? Are we good?
Dinner is ordered. We're good.
Oh, cool. What are we having?
Taco Bell. We're on the road.
I'm sorry.
So-
I value my stomach, so I shan't be partaking.
I like Taco Bell.
As a person who suffers from celiac disease, it's one of the few places you can eat.
Yes, I was married to a vegetarian for many years. It's one of the few fast food places she wasn't limited.
It's this and Culver's. I'm not sure if you guys have Culver's in Pennsylvania, but that's about it.
No, never heard of it.
Culver's is awesome. My Midwest folks know Culver's, so that's good stuff. Yes, I will. I'll give you an update on my week. I finally finished The Dark Tower.
Ah,
it was amazing. And then I watched the movie. It made me want to die.
And then I watched the movie, and it was not amazing.
They tried to squeeze 10,000 pages of books into a 90-minute movie.
Oh my goodness!
I'm assuming
they tried to do the entire thing. It was awful. It was one of the most disappointing films. Well, I knew it was going to be bad, so I can't really call it disappointing, but I'm still going to call it disappointing because, like, I know the potential that was there, and it was like so there. Thank you. So disheartening on that. It was so. I looked forward to it, and I also got an audiobook while I was at work this weekend. I listened to Who Censored Roger Rabbit.
Ah,
I've heard of that one.
It's the movie. It's the book Roger Rabbit is based on.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you something. It was a sale on Amazon, and I said, "Oh, I'll check this out." It was like $1, so I bought it. It's very different than the movie.
Really?
And not as good. But the potential is there. So you see, I get why Disney, I get why Disney's like, you know what, we can do something. It's very noir-y. Roger is not a good rabbit. Like, he's not a likable character. It's very noir. Everyone is super shady, and they're comic strips instead of cartoon characters.
Ah,
so
interesting.
It takes place in the 80s, not the 40s. So the nuts and bolts are there, and it got to the point like the sequels to the book that were written were based on the movie, not the original book, and that's from the original author. So even he was like, they did my idea better than mine. So I had one experience where the book was significantly better than the movie, and one experience where the movie was significantly better than the book. So
interesting.
That's was interesting. Rare. I thought it is rare, and I bookended it over the weekend, which made it very, very surreal in a way. But yeah, that was my weekend. How was yours, Dave?
Interesting. So, all right, I actually saw 2.5 movies this past week. John, you might need to bite your lip before I finish. Have you guys heard about the Hyperion movie? So it's I can't think, the guy from Men in Tights who played Robin Hood and was in Princess Bride. JD, you're usually the one that's good with names.
Carrie Elway.
Yes. So basically, he creates a technology that gives people superpowers, and it's a movie that takes place in like the 60s, 70s. It's like, it starts out in 1965, and then it's 14 years later, so it's 1979 in modern day. And long story short, like some people probably have heard about this.
It's a comedy.
It's a comedy drama. Okay, so
a dramedy.
It's a dramedy. So first thing I'm going to say is, it felt like the Royal Tenenbaums. Have you guys seen that movie?
I have. It's goddamn weird.
Yes, it felt like the Royal Tenenbaums, but as a superhero movie. Okay,
that's really weird.
Wes Anderson's superhero movie, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God, that's a really good description. But here's the weird thing about it. Okay, it's how the Daily Wire is trying to produce movies now. This is one of the first ones they produced, and what they were doing is they were streamed it live for free on YouTube on Wednesday night, and it was supposed to start at 8:00 Eastern time, but didn't really get started till like after 9. And I'm watching, I'm like, it's not bad, but like I'm tired, I want to go to sleep. So I paused it, I went to bed, and I got up the next morning and go to finish watching it, and they took it down. And now the only way you can watch it is to sign up on the Daily Wire. And I'm like, this is such bullshit. Like, his big thing, I give him props because his whole argument is, if you want to change the world, you got to change the culture. So he wants to create movies to help change culture, but yet he's going to force you to join his website to watch the movie. I'm like, that's not helping. That's not like, distribute it so people can see it and then make their own decision. Like, you're going to put it behind a paywall. It's stupid. Like, you're not accomplishing what you want to set out. And it was a halfway decent movie. Like, if it was free, I would have finished watching it, but I'm not going to pay to finish watching this, So
wow,
that's my commentary on that. Like, that was just
that's a risky distribution model.
It is. It's very risky, right? Because the whole thing is too. It also goes to the whole like preaching to the choir mentality. Like, the only people who are going to see it are the people who already subscribe to your service. No one's going to sign up to see this movie.
What is Daily Wire?
Huh?
What is Daily Wire? Like,
it's Ben Shapiro's company.
Oh God,
okay.
No.
So
that is absolutely hilarious. That is so spot on, man. Like, I'll give you half the movie, but you gotta give me the other. You gotta subscribe to my service for the other half. That's perfect.
Right. Did your subscription come with like some, muscle supplements or something? Like,
no, you're confusing him with
not really
the crazy guy. No,
they're both crazy, dude. Come on, that's Daily.
Anyway, see, that's why I was telling you to bite your tongue. So like, again, I applaud.
Why would you put it on there though?
I applaud the like idea of you want to change culture, but right, like, you're defeating your own mission by then putting it behind a paywall for people to see it. It's a very risky, like you said, JD, it's a very risky model to like, like, it just doesn't make sense. But what are you gonna do?
You're not gonna get anybody. Like,
no,
it's never worked before. I'll give you half of something, and to get the other half of it, you have to give me money. Like,
right.
Unless you're like a drug dealer, which they ain't. Like, it's going to be a colossal failure. Colossal.
Right. And I will say this too, it wasn't like so spectacular, like, oh, I gotta see the rest of this. It was like, it was good. All the actors in it were really good. It was a decent story, but it was weird and it was different, and that's what I kind of liked about it. But it was like, nah, I'm not paying for this. So, yep. And then of course I watched the movie for the show on Friday evening before I went out, and then Saturday, I was at my girlfriend's and we wanted to watch a movie, and I watched another Ryan Reynolds movie, which I hadn't seen yet, Red Notice. So that was the interesting thing. I saw a movie on Friday that had Deadpool, Gamora, and the Incredible Hulk in it, and then on Saturday I watched a movie that had Green Lantern, Black Adam, and Wonder Woman in it. But so Netflix is hiring all the comic book stores. Have you guys seen Red Notice?
I haven't. I've seen the promos for it, but I also saw a review for it. It wasn't that great. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's
a golden egg, right?
About Cleopatra's golden eggs was the MacGuffin in it.
I just heard that it was really confused. Like the plot might have been really confusing or something, but.
No, I wouldn't say it's really confusing. It's by the time you're halfway through, you can see where it's going. You realize what the twist is at the end, and it's just like, but I mean, it's it's funny. I liked Ryan Reynolds and The Rock's the way they played off each other. That was good, but I'll say that if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil, but you can kind of see the end coming before it gets there. The twist for the end. So yeah, but that was my week. Watched some movies, hung out with my girlfriend. Oh, I went to a fundraiser last night for Archbishop Ryan High School for their arts program. So there was a quizzo night. Did not win a thing. I don't know enough trivia, apparently. Well, I don't know stuff like who won the Teen Choice Award in 2008, I think it was, or 2010.
Why would we care?
Unless you were a teenager in 2010, there's no way you could.
Well, we got to remember, this was a high school fundraiser, so there was a lot of younger people there too.
Most of these kids were like 6 in 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were probably watching stuff like that.
Could be.
Yeah. So yeah, that was. I didn't have a very calm weekend. There was nothing crazy about it, nothing maddening. So let's maddening ourselves now and talk about social media madness.
I tried to get him to start early so you could get past this, JD, but he stubbornly hung on.
No such luck for me.
Nope.
All right. So first off, we did talk about Tom Welling had offered an update on the Smallville animated series. Tweeted out, would people watch this show? To which Timothy Jones said, "I would definitely watch. I hope it's not just an animated redo of the series, though I'm sure it will take off."
Boo. Boo.
Sour grapes, ladies and gentlemen.
Find the newspapers across this country.
Yes. Then to which Marcellus Reagans from So Wizard replied, "LOL." And it's I don't know sure what show it's from, but it's a guy with a GIF. It's a GIF of a guy applauding. Very nice. Bravo. And then I am not going to. Okay. Fatima, you obviously don't listen to our show. You just caught the tagging of Smallville on it. He asked, what time in the podcast is Tom's part? And Tom Welling was not actually on our podcast, though we would gladly have him on. We just talked about.
That's what time.
We just had him. We just talked about a news article that involved him. Okay, John, these two are specifically for you.
Uh-huh.
So we had also mentioned that our favorite composer of all time, John Williams, does return to do the Obi-Wan television series. And we asked people how excited they were for this. And Matt Spectro, through the Multiverse podcast, said, "I am not."
Alive? Like, I think he trailed off there and forgot to part the alive part. Because only people that are alive like him, people who are dead inside, that would be the only reason for not liking John Williams.
And an Englishman in San Diego retweeted us and said, "Let the man rest."
I get that, but like, he's a once in a generation type of talent. I mean, and it's up to him. He could rest if he wants.
Exactly.
He decided to go, and good for him being able to do it at that age. Holy moly!
There's this weird mentality weird image in my head of like Mickey Mouse showed up at Williams's house with like a couple of beefy guys and said, "You're doing the soundtrack."
Yeah.
or you're getting beat up.
We wouldn't put it past the mouse, really. I mean, look what they did to the Nickelback Brothers, whatever they are.
Nickelback Brothers.
The Jonas Brothers. But
the Nickelback Brothers.
But the thing is, like, again, if only all of us could be that active and that good at what we do by the time we're by that age, and still be trucking, the man's just he's unstoppable.
Yes. And then finally, I only included this one because JD tagged me. I think I mentioned this meme on the last episode where it's pictures of, like, it's Batman from 1966, 1989, Michael Keaton, 1995, and 1997. Each one, the picture gets a little darker. 2008, 2016, Ben Affleck, 2022, and then 2025 it's just a black square.
I saw that meme in on Facebook. It was going around a lot, and it's true. Go ahead,
so I got
Jamie.
two thoughts on the previous one, because I had a mouthful of taco when you guys were talking about it. If we don't call this episode the Nickelback Brothers, we're missing an opportunity.
Okay.
Two, Clint Eastwood is in his 90s, is basically 90, I think, and he's making movies. He's got a saying. It's like, you keep going and you don't let the old man in, right? Because when you let the old man in, it's time for the old man to go. So you just keep going, and you just deny the fact that you're old, and you just keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
True.
That sounds like a song title.
Is it? It might be.
Although, yeah, I don't know. Like,
what?
No,
go ahead, say it. Say it, old man. You're the oldest one here.
I'm just saying, in Clint Eastwood's case, it's probably that death is just afraid of him.
Could be.
And in John Williams' case, he just serenades death right out the back door. It's just like,
Falls into sleep with a sweet melody.
Yep.
Or lures it away with a nice hot taco. Is Taco Bell sponsoring this episode?
They should. I'd like some of that sweet taco money.
Well, if you want some of that sweet taco money, here's our good friend D Square telling you you can follow us on social media and be part of social media madness.
And get those sweet ass tacos.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of social media madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, you can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them at @stars_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Cult 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for #GWAllstars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
Thanks for that, Don. And don't forget to check out the Omega Level Nerds podcast, available on YouTube and wherever podcasts are available. And now we're going to take our quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right, we are back. We have a few little things to talk about in the news here. Hopefully everyone's prepared and read the email. We're actually, sorry, let's be serious. Unfortunately, the first news is sad news. Academy Award winning actor William Hurt passed away. He was 71 years old. And of course, he's most known to our audience as Thunderbolt Ross from The Incredible Hulk and Endgame and Captain America Civil War and all those movies. And it's kind of a sad day.
He did way more.
Oh, of course.
Than that. Like, I mean, again, the first movie I remember where I actually knew that was William Hurt was Altered States. Mm-hmm. And that was a freaky movie, man. And that was done, God, I can't remember when it was, like really, really a long time ago.
What is Altered States? I don't know that movie.
Altered States is a freaky movie. It was 1980. It was one of the very first ones he was done and doing, actually. Like the first time was in Kojak, 1977. Altered States was oh God, it was let's say it's transcendentalism gone horribly, horribly wrong, and probably one of the very first introductions of being Cronenberged.
Okay, that sounds gross.
It is, but it's a really interesting. It's not quite a horror movie, but it's science fiction. It's almost horror science fiction. Anyway, so yeah, beyond but beyond that, like, Body Heat, Big Chill, Gorky Park was another one I had forgotten. Broadcast News,
yes, that
one of the most famous ones.
Yes, Dark City. That's right.
Oh my God, Dark City. Yeah, Lost in Space, the movie. Duh.
That's right. Oh my goodness.
The first movie, the first try, which wasn't that bad. I know some people didn't like it, but I wasn't that bad as a it had Joey in it.
It had Joey in it. Had to be good.
It also had Heather Graham and Lacey Chabert and a bunch of others. Mimi Rogers was excellent in it. Gary Oldman was in it. Like, the cast was pretty damn good. Yeah, add William Hurt to that and stir a little bit, and some CGI, and it was awesome.
Children of a Lesser God, of course, another one very
So-
famous movie he was in.
So
Yeah.
well, basically lots and lots of stuff that us old people remember that probably you younger people should definitely give a try.
Oh, and Kiss of the Spider Woman, which is the movie he won the Academy Award for. So, yeah, yes, definitely. Yes, definitely sad day. You know, I'm kind of curious because there were rumors they were going to do a Red Hulk, something with the Red Hulk. Either
Well, we figured in She-Hulk, right?
we figured they were going to introduce something about Red Hulk in She-Hulk. Yeah, like that's the rumor. Do they do that now, or do they skip over it, or?
I don't know, but like it's been reported for a while now that the Red Hulk was going to like make an appearance.
Yeah.
So
it's just Thunderbolt Ross. They could recast him.
True.
Yeah.
Do you bring back Sam Elliott, who played him in Hulk?
I forgot about that. Yeah, why not? Although he's kind of old too.
He's older too. Yes, he's
older.
He's older. How old is Sam Elliott?
Sam Elliott? Well, to be honest,
I mean,
Sam
he's been around since the 70s, so
yeah, but Sam Elliott has looked 90 since he was like 3. So
exactly, it's the mustache.
He's 77 years old.
Oh my God, he's older. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So maybe you recast a guy in his 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
You know, I mean, like this is kind of the problem with working with human beings is they die.
As averse to actual comic book characters, it's just a drawing on a page.
Stupid human beings. Why couldn't we just have like his evil clone turn up or something? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
you still got to have William Hurt play the evil clone, though, right?
True.
Well,
that doesn't help.
I mean, you know, the CGI is getting pretty good. It's starting to get there.
They got young Luke running around in the Mandalorian, so
They do that.
all right. Well, rest in peace, Mr. Hurt. Moving on to something a little happier. They released the teaser for the Obi-Wan series. Did you guys both get a chance to see it?
You know I did. I watched it while you were listening.
So what do we think? Are we excited for this? That this pique our interest?
I hope this doesn't turn out to be Gotham. Gotham, Tatooine version, you know?
No, I don't think Ewan McGregor would do it unless it had the potential to be really good because he don't need this.
It's
right?
True.
Like he was only going to come back if they gave him something worth coming back for.
Right. No, I agree.
I don't know. I think this looks all right. What do you think, man?
I think, yeah, it looks good. It looks like there's a lot of potential there. They're bringing the Inquisitors in live action. So continuing with the borrowing from like Rebels and the Clone Wars series.
This does carry a risk. I mean, the risk is the more they retread the same material over and over and over again within the same time frame, the more continuity issues they're going to probably introduce. And I know, well, some geeks do. We're geeks, you know, like that's kind of our thing is worrying about continuity. But the other thing is, I would put forward again, there is an entire freaking universe with thousands of planets that could be explored with all new characters, and they still are pulling from the same damn cadre of, you know, the same people all the time.
John, I'll be honest with you. I don't care about the unexplored Star Wars universe. If I'm watching Star Wars, I want Star Wars. Like, why can't we want an Obi-Wan series, right? Obi-Wan is Star Wars. If you throw some random dude and, you know, give him a name that doesn't matter, but throw the Star Wars label on it, it's not real.
Like what if they made a show about a Mandalorian, just some random Mandalorian? Yeah, that would never work.
He looks like Boba Fett, man. Looks like Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it's not why people didn't watch that show.
It's exactly why
it isn't why they watched that show. They're watching it for Baby Yoda, which again, same
we
thing.
knew Baby Yoda was coming, and when he wasn't Baby something you never heard of. He was Baby Yoda, right? That's what you want. You want the property, right? Like I don't like. Do another, like if you have another, okay, if you're a creator and you have an entire universe of stuff that hasn't been touched yet, why would you want to throw the Star Wars tag in there? Why wouldn't you want to make your own thing?
But they have all the extended universe stuff like just sitting there, like they could put, and they are slowly starting to pull from it. But the thing is, they had so many good stories in the extended universe.
But they said they have already thrown that out, though. Said it's not canon.
I know, but it does prove that you can have good stories about stuff that isn't directly related to a Skywalker or Boba Fett or,
Okay, but we'll also go back to something that we say a lot, is that these companies are in the business to make money. How many people read the books versus how many people have watched those movies over the years? I'm sure I know a lot of people have read the books, but I'm sure it fails in comparison to the number of tickets that have been sold for those movies.
We're also talking about Star Wars, right? George Lucas tossed away his own continuity, right? Because he was not planning on making Vader Luke's father, right? Because then they had that conversation with Obi Wan and Jedi was like, semantics. Before he became Vader, he pretty much killed your father.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have Leia slip Luke the tongue in Empire if the plan was to make them twins.
But the other thing is, like, again, the more you introduce, the more continuity issues you have with Obi-Wan sitting there talking to Yoda after Luke takes off and Yoda says, well, there is another. Okay, which other are you talking about? Are you talking about Ezra? Are you talking about Ahsoka? Are you talking which other was he talking about? Because now we know that there were a whole bunch of Jedi still wandering around the universe that Yoda actually knew about, because again, they backfilled that with Yoda having met both of them, and okay,
had to be a Skywalker. There's another Skywalker. That's what the line is.
Yeah.
He just said there is another, not there is another Skywalker. But
but they were going down what they believed was the chosen one path, believing it was originally Anakin and then Luke. So there you go.
I said, continuity, story is more important than continuity. So if you have a good story to tell it. We retcon stuff this is a comic podcast, right? We retcon stuff all the time.
Yep. Can't get away from it.
Otherwise, Superman would still have been adopted by John and Mary Kent after spending the first 10 years of his life in an orphanage, right? That's what it was originally. You change as you go along.
I wish I could retcon my childhood.
Oh.
It would be convenient.
All right.
It would be helpful.
Speaking of things I wish we could retcon and get rid of, the Boys season 3 teaser came out. Did you guys watch that?
No, because it doesn't mean anything to me. I haven't watched any of the show.
Oh, that's right. You never watched it.
I finished season 2. I am not interested in season 3.
Yeah.
It's the term overkill comes to mind, but that's underkill compared. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
and the thing is, we're
looking at a possible World War III with nukes right now, and I don't want to see. I don't need anything that's going to show me a bleak future. We're already looking at that.
Well, and the thing that kind of bugged me, and I never read the comics, so I don't know if this is canon for the comics or not. But at the big, they're showing that Butcher has powers now in the teaser, and it's like, that takes something away from it for me, because it was kind of like non-powered people against heroes trying to figure out how to defeat them, and the bad guys were actually the people with power. So now it's like, well, now we're going to give one of the guys powers. It's like, well, then he's on an even playing field. It takes something. It's not the underdog anymore.
Gotta mix it up, man. Season 3, gotta stir the pot. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, that's true. Season 3, you gotta change something up, or else it's just gonna be the same old.
No, but I'm a Dave. I think the kind of I read the first trade and didn't love it, so I never picked up another issue, and I never saw the show. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not interested.
Yeah, and also, on a side note, I don't know if you guys saw the Anthony Starr, the guy who plays Homelander. Did you see the news about him?
I heard something. He got in trouble for something, didn't he?
Apparently he was at a bar drunk and beat someone up, badly.
Oh, how badly?
There's pictures. The guy's got stitches on his face and stuff.
Well, that's not.
What?
Why? Why did it happen? What happened?
I don't know the whole story. What bugs me the most is that he was sentenced to 12 months suspended. Yeah, I mean, talk about bleak futures, bleak presents, because he's a celebrity. He didn't go to jail. And it's like, ugh. Our justice system sucks. I don't care, the guy, he should be at least get probation, you know, or ankle monitor, house arrest.
You should at least get probation. I don't know. I'd like to know I'm not going to pretend like I never punched a guy in a bar. So I'd like to know the reasoning behind. I'd like to know the story. Like maybe, I don't know. So I'm of the mind that more people need to get punched in the mouth. That's me. I'm controversial statement. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So none of us are going to be watching season 3. Good luck, boys. You're going to need it. All right. I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
Do you think a composer can make a good director?
I don't know if it's ever happened before. I'm interested to see if it's possible.
That's a good point.
Well, the Batman composer, Michael Giacomo? No, how do you say that?
Carpenter.
What?
John Carpenter did. John Carpenter. He did the music for almost all of his movies. Answer is yes. Yes, he could.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Michael, I'm butchering his name. Giacchino. Giancho?
Something Italian.
Something Italian. Is going to direct the Werewolf by Night special for Disney Plus.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yes. He also composed music for.
It's Giacchino, by the way.
Giacchino. Oh, thank you, John. Star Trek. I know he previously directed. I'm sorry. A short film in 2018 and some shorts for animated Star Trek shorts for I guess the Paramount network. He's composed other stuff for a couple of the Marvel things and some other things. So yeah, so he has directed before. Nothing that I've seen. So we'll see. I guess what
he's getting. He sounds like a really talented guy who's done some small level stuff, and he's getting an opportunity. Like these are the kind of guys that Marvel's been hiring, right?
Right.
Especially for somebody low profile as a one-off Disney Plus special. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a big enough project that'll, get him some cachet. So yeah, definitely. I think it'll work. John,
good for you.
What do you think?
Sure. No, I mean, wait to see how it turns out.
All right. What if it was John Williams? Could he direct?
Don't think so.
He directs an orchestra. Why can't he direct a movie?
There's a whole different. That's a whole different skill set. You know that. So,
all right. What about Zimmer? What if it was him they hired to direct?
He can't even direct an orchestra. So
he does direct an orchestra. That's correct. He's a keyboard guy.
Oh my goodness. Yes, he does a lot of stuff on the computer. All right.
So did John Carpenter.
Yes.
No problem.
True.
All right, moving on. Here's the big story that just came out today, I think, right?
Yeah.
That HBO Max and the Discovery app are going to merge into one super app.
Well, it's not only that. Discovery's taking over Warner Media. Like, this is a massive merger.
Right. Well, we talked about the merger before, so I mean, but it's coming to more fruition now.
Yes.
This is interesting. So is there anything on the Discovery app that you watch now?
Okay, I got a funny story. Yesterday, I texted my wife that Robert Irvine and Robert Tappert, the guys from Restaurant Impossible and Bar Rescue, have a competition show on Discovery Plus. And I told my wife that, and she loves these shows. She said, we have to get Discovery Plus. And I said, no. Let's wait and see if they do it with HBO Max, because there's a good chance it's all going to be one app anyway, and we already get it. So, flash forward 24 hours, and JD stuck the landing.
24 hours.
Interesting.
You didn't realize you were that correct, right?
Well, I mean, because I know you saw it was coming. When Discovery Plus was buying Warner Media, it would seem like, why have two apps and you can have one app, right?
Right.
We've been talking about this for 2 years now, the consolidation process is underway. We're in the implosion now. And this one, quite honestly, because they're going to have all those like Food Network, Discovery Channel, your home renovation shows. People love that stuff. You put that on the same app that has like your movies and like your like AEW stuff that I like and now they're talking about doing live sports on HBO Max, right? You've basically created your own cable network.
I wonder if
this is like next to Disney Plus now. This is the big one, right?
Yeah, this and Peacock have been kind of neck and neck. And I think if they do this, if they stick this landing, like now you've gone over the top. 'Cause now you've got live sports on top of like quality reality show programming. Because Discovery is like the best of the cable reality stuff. And now you've got prestige format, like prestige programming too, along with a great set of like films. Like you've got everything that the old cable, like a cable, not even a cable network, but like a cable system used to have, right? Isn't that what they want? Don't we want it? They want you to go, hey, you want this one app right here. It's going to be hard to fight.
So
we're going to get, like, if all the mergers are this big, though, we're going to quickly get to a point where antitrust is going to have to step in. They're going to have to do something.
I agree with you.
I think we'll quick. Yeah, that's coming too. But I think we're going to quickly get to the point where there's going to be like there was an explosion of all these little ones, and then we're going to quickly get to like there's 3 or 4, ones that offer a lot of stuff, and the other ones will just kind of go away that don't merger with anyone.
Well, that's back to where we started with the 3 networks, right?
Yeah.
We're back to ABC, CBS, and NBC.
Yeah.
That's right. We're basically going to have, it's basically going to be this Discovery, Warner, whatever they call it. It's going to be Disney and probably Netflix and Peacock. And there might be, it wouldn't surprise me if someone bought Netflix or something.
And then Crunchyroll and Rooster Teeth on the UHF channels.
Wasn't Rooster Teeth or Crunchyroll part of Warner? Didn't someone buy them recently or something?
No, they merged though, right?
Crunchyroll and Funimation.
Funimation just merged, yeah.
Right. But Rooster Teeth is still out there. They're still independent.
Someone's gonna buy Crunchyroll. Someone big is gonna buy them.
I don't think so. Like in the space of anime, Crunchyroll is now a behemoth. Like there is nobody bigger than them right now.
I believe that. But well, here's the real question: when does Sony decide they want to tape?
That was what I was just about to say. What happens when Sony says, you know what?
So Sony owns them now. Sony owned Funimation.
But the thing is, when does Sony decide they want their own app? Their own, not app, sorry. Their own.
No, their own app. Their own app is Crunchyroll now.
I know, but I mean,
no, but a real like with all the movies that Sony has done. Start with that, yes.
Well, yeah, and then merge.
Yeah. Like I'm talking. When does Sony decide they want? I think they've been sitting out on this, waiting. Because like think about Sony Picture Entertainment, all the television stuff that they have. They have a lot of like prestige television stuff. They currently have license. But what about when they decide to pull that stuff back? And I don't know, because I know they've sold quite a bit. Like they sold the MGM library. They've sold so much stuff. But at some point, you got to think Sony's going to want to get in on it.
Yeah. And I think what they do is if you buy a PlayStation 6, they give you a year free of it.
Well, remember when PlayStation tried to have its own network and that didn't quite work? Like Sony, since that happened, Sony's been really cautious about stuff because they had Crackle like a decade. Like they were ahead of everybody, but they were almost like too early.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so it's like I just wonder is when they decide to go, okay, now we're going to do this because Sony owns so many television networks across the planet that are major, much bigger than here. So I mean, they have the infrastructure to support something like this. The question is, do they really want to go all in? I don't know.
Well, don't they own Paramount, right?
They do own Paramount. Oh, wait, no, I don't think they do. No, Sony owns. No, I'm wrong. Paramount is something else. Paramount is Viacom.
Okay.
And that's the thing. The Paramount network, right? Paramount Plus, whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
That is like not the bottom, but I mean like of these major ones, that's the one that like nobody is really flocking to.
Yeah, because the only thing they have that people seem to talk about is the Star Trek stuff, and even there's people who don't even like that. People are torn on it.
Well, that's what I wonder. I mean, does Sony go all in with Paramount and decide, okay, we'll do a thing? Like, does Sony take it off Viacom's hands? Like, I mean, there's so many. Or do they? Right. Is that a potential merger? Like, there's so much on the table still, and they're the wild card player now. So it does seem like the Paramount network is, or whatever you want to call it, is the one that's struggling.
Maybe they buy Netflix.
That's one that it's possible. I could see it. I could see Sony or maybe Viacom deciding, you know what, let's just absorb Netflix. That could be one reason why Netflix is in spending mode right now, is so they get acquired. Right?
Yeah.
Because can Netflix fight? Think about this. Can Netflix fight Disney and whatever this Frankenstein's monster that is Warner?
Well, they've diversified a lot. So they've got anime, they've got like regular animation, they've got foreign films, they've got
they have their own film studio.
They have their own.
They're the ones that have invested the most in content, in like new content, original content creation, right? Like it seems like everybody else is digging into the past, where Netflix is like, look, we're the ones on the forefront creating something new. Some of it sticks, some of it doesn't, but I mean, we're talking about it in 10 minutes or whatever. We're going to be talking about a Netflix original movie.
Yeah. No, I agree. So just real quick to wrap up the HBO Max Discovery merger, they're on track to finalize it by 2022. Mid 2022. And I'm wondering, you mentioned something like they do a lot of boxing with HBO.
No, they don't anymore. HBO got out of the boxing game 3 years ago. But here's something interesting. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, HBO made a huge deal with the Premier League. So they're doing a lot of live soccer, which I know most Americans are like, so what? But in like overseas, and it's one of the fastest growing sports in the U.S. Like, so that tells me that HBO is serious about sports. Live event sports is the big money maker right now.
Right.
Like it's keeping Fox. The NFL is basically Fox after Fox sold off like 20th Century Fox and all that stuff. So is Warner interested in becoming like a real player in live event sports broadcast? Because that's the fascinating thing. Because they've got TNT. The big thing on TNT is the NBA, right?
Right.
You bring the NBA into one of these things, man. It's like now the game is totally changed.
Yeah, no, I definitely could see that. All right, let's move on. We got two more quick articles here. The first one being, speaking of things being on time and delayed, Black Adam, Flashpoint, and Aquaman 2 have all been delayed. Black Adam till October of this year, and Flashpoint and Aquaman to next year at this point. And it's interesting, after the Batman just came out and was a huge success, now all of a sudden they're delaying these movies. The rumor is, because they kind of just announced the delay and they didn't really say why, but there's scuttlebutt saying because of the pandemic they didn't get all the special effects finished. They weren't able to get special effects people, and they were just finishing them up now, and these movies aren't going to be done.
Supply chain issues with the special effects people?
Yeah,
the special effects people that can work from home.
Yeah, that's the only thing that bugs me. It's like you can do a lot of that stuff from home now. So
yeah, I'm very, very suspect on that. It's probably reshoots, right? It has to be. It's always reshoots.
Do you think they've changed directions on their universe now and how they're connecting things?
I thought that the plan was going forward, and I think I read this after Batman came out, is that they're just going to be basically auteur-centric. Like someone's got an idea, we go with it. Regardless of continuity. I think they're just trying to be with DC's best bet and just doing stories as opposed to let Marvel do the interconnected universe that works for them. Because when DC tries it doesn't really work.
Yeah, right? But I mean, they didn't do it with a plan. They just kind of tried to do it and cram it in there.
But isn't that the story of DC Comics in general? Like, isn't that just kind of what it is and always has been?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like in the company DNA. But I mean, like the best DC stories, Kingdom Come, New Frontier, they're all continuity free. That's why this Batman movie was great, because there was no ties to anything. They could just do a good movie again.
True. But that's how I also kind of wonder why there's reshoots because of the delays, because they were probably all heavily tied together somehow, and now they want to kind of break it off.
Sometimes, I mean, a lot of these things get delayed because making a movie is hard. And sometimes it just, like, the studios, like, they want to get the word out. Oh, this movie's coming out on this, and then it's like, oh no, it's not going to be ready. Because sometimes movies aren't ready.
I know, it's just weird that because they gave us a Flash trailer. We've seen.
All you need is a little bit of footage to make a trailer. Like, you don't have to have a finished movie to do that. Like, they rushed the original Batman '89, the trailer. They rushed that trailer out long before that movie was finished even filming.
True.
It's not uncommon.
It was just funny though, because The Rock announced the delay for Black Adam, and because he's also does one of the voices in the Super Pets movie, they moved that up. So he was just like, he was acting like, oh, it's a good thing. We moved it so it's closer to the holiday season. And I was like, really?
Gotta spin, brother. Gotta spin.
Yeah. I wasn't smelling what The Rock was cooking there. Sorry.
It might be a little bit of bullshit, but I mean, like, that's you got to do that. You got to serve those corporate masters.
Yeah, some people do.
I don't have. But
yeah, we don't have corporate masters on this show.
We'd like some if you want.
We're looking for masters.
Yes. If you own a podcast empire and you'd like us to join, we're for sale. John has a price tag on his forehead.
We have no pride. We will do whatever.
All right. And then the last bit of news here, Gotham Knights. So have you guys heard about this show?
Is this the one that's going to be on HBO Max?
No, this is going to be on the CW.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not familiar with it.
So apparently it's based, the idea is that it's Gotham after Batman dies.
God, why do they do stuff like that? We got that with Birds of Prey back in the day too.
Yeah, in all of these, Batman is conspicuously absent. Like he's dead or he's just gone, or it's like they can't do a regular Batman TV show. No.
Well, they don't want. Why? Why do a regular Batman TV show when you release these movies and they make all the money?
So you get what's her name? They cast Olivia Rose Keegan, Nevia Robinson, and Oscar Morgan. So Keegan is going to be playing Dula, and Robinson is going to be playing Carrie Kelly.
So you got Dula Dent, Joker's daughter, and Carrie Kelly, the girl Robin. I have zero interest in this, by the way. The more you talk about it.
And let's see. And Morgan will play Turner Hayes.
Who?
Turner Hayes. Despite the murder of his biological parents, Turner remains resilient and driven to live up to his billionaire adoptive father's name. While charming and soulful, Turner has never quite felt comfortable in the world of wealth and privilege.
Oh my God, this sounds awful.
Yeah.
Why don't they just take Batman Beyond?
I know, right? Or hell, let's just do a Static Shock for crying out loud. They have so many properties that are just sitting there doing nothing.
Well, Batman makes money, so I get that. But I mean, like, you've got this exact idea, right? Of Gothamless Batman. It's Batman Beyond in the future. Like, why don't we just do that? People would like that.
So they did Birds of Prey, they did Gotham, and now they're doing let's stop with the Gothamless or Batmanless Gotham ideas.
Right? Because there's nothing less interesting than a Gothamless Batman.
No. You mean a Batmanless Gotham?
Either one.
He knows what he said.
No, because I think it'd be interesting if Batman in Metropolis.
Yeah, you know what? I would like that. That sounds like it would be a fun show. Fair enough. I stand corrected.
Yeah, do that, CW.
Dave suggested Batman in Metropolis, where Superman lives. Would you like to watch that? Yeah.
See? There's your target audience.
There you go.
Why didn't you make that movie in the first place?
They should. I know you want to be on the show now, buddy, but you gotta pipe down just a little bit, okay? You're doing good. Proud of you.
All right. So yeah, there you go, CW, Warner Brothers. No interest in this show. So don't even bother making this pilot.
Remember when the marketing campaign for Titans was Robin swearing F Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
True.
Don't worry about it, buddy.
All right. Well, on that, we're going to take our final commercial break and be right back with our main topic.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right, we're back. And trains aside, we're going to get on with this 2022 movie. I almost said Road Notice. The Adam Project.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention at the top of the show, when we were watching Red Notice, my girlfriend turned to me and said, I think you love Ryan Reynolds. And the answer is yes. Yes, I love Ryan Reynolds. In a much different way than you, honey.
What straight man does not like Ryan Reynolds? Like, what's Ryan Reynolds? Right. Oh, God. Ryan Reynolds is an actor, my friend. He played Green Lantern in the Green Lantern movie, and he played Deadpool in the Deadpool movie.
There's something I wonder about Deadpool.
Can we? Okay, what do you wonder about Deadpool, buddy?
Well, why does Deadpool look like a bad guy?
He's not a bad guy. He's a good guy. He's got a mask.
He's misunderstood.
He's misunderstood. Thank you, Dave. He's just misunderstood. He's kind of crazy.
All those people died by accident just near him. That's
yes.
So we got a movie. Now it's funny because we don't normally do a lot of non-comic book movies, but this one has Deadpool, Gamora, and the Hulk in it. So we had to review it for the show. So all right, let's do our normal, obviously Netflix original, The Atom Project. I didn't even think I said the name of the movie yet. Released this past weekend. We all had a chance to sit down and watch it. So let's go around, give our non-spoiler initial reactions to the movie, and John, you can start.
I really like this, and I'm going to watch it again because it was just I found it to be just fun. You know, it was kind of light on the brain. You didn't have to really think too hard, and I know that Ryan Reynolds has a shtick, and he does mostly the same shtick in every movie, and it hasn't gotten old yet. I'm just enjoying it because I think that the thing is, it's because he enjoys it. Like he does this not just for the paycheck, but he's doing this because it's fun for him, and because he's having fun, the audience has fun too. So I liked it a lot.
Okay, JD.
This reminded me of a movie that I would have watched as a kid, and I got like Flight of the Navigator, like Last Starfighter, space, Travelers, those kind of movie vibes, right? It felt like a kid's, not like a kid's movie, but an action movie that definitely is directed at a younger audience, right? And it was a ton of fun. It's one of the most fun. Like, I really wasn't into this idea of watching. It's like, I don't want to watch this movie, but I'm so glad I did. Like, this was one of the most fun movies I've seen in a long time, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you forgot to mention, was it Jennifer Gardner is in this as well?
Jennifer Gardner is in this. She was an Electro.
Yeah, and was it the kid's name is Walker Scoble, who plays young Adam, and
he's great.
He is great.
Yeah, no, I kind of believed he was a young Ryan Reynolds. So
they let him have some of Ryan's lines in the movie.
So I enjoyed it too. It was it wasn't an overly complicated time travel movie. So you didn't have to think about it too much. It was interesting to watch another movie where I saw why can't I think of his name? The Hulk.
Mark
Ruffalo explained time travel, but a different concept of time travel.
Yeah.
The rules for this movie opposed to the rules for another movie. And it was good. I don't know. Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds in this, but that's what you pay for, right? Like, I people complain about that. Some people I know that aren't as big of fans, and it's like, yeah, but that's the whole point. Like, the movie companies know people are going to tune in to see him being him in the movies. And
isn't he a producer on this thing? Like, wasn't he like him and Sean Levy? They're a team. They did Free Guy. They're doing something else. Like, they did what they wanted to do. So you can sit there and say, yeah, Ryan Reynolds is the same stuff, but Ryan Reynolds wants to do the same stuff. It's not like he's Bela Lugosi and miserable that he has to play a vampire his whole life. Like, he likes this, and this is. I mean, we talk about how there's no original movies anymore. This was an original, maybe original since I've never seen a time travel movie before, but this is an original property. It was something that they came up with that's different. So cool.
And the other one you just mentioned, that he's in, Free Guy. I just rewatched that. That's rewatchable. It was fun to watch it again.
I never saw Free Guy. I'm going to now because I enjoyed the Atom Project.
Yeah,
it was fun. It's on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. I should watch that.
All right. So I think what we're all saying is thumbs up. We enjoyed the movie. We're going to get deeper into it. So if you haven't seen it, and you've gotten this far into the podcast, you might want to stop now and come back later so you don't hear spoilers. And if you don't care or you've seen it, all right, here we go. So we start out with young Adam. Obviously, the main character's name is Adam, and he's he's living with his mom. His father's passed away. We don't know who his father is yet.
Obviously, because the more parents you lose, the more powerful you get. I mean, that's how it works.
Yeah,
it's just science. I mean,
it's comic book science. He's having a rough time at school, dealing with bullies and whatnot. And one night, a strange man shows up in his father's garage, who's hurt, who turns out to be him from the future. So
I like the technology that they had, like all the jets and everything, and how they played all of that. It was really cool. And the little thing about the reason why he went to his younger self. I mean, first off, he missed where he was supposed to go, right?
Right.
But the reason why he went to his younger self at that point was because he's injured, and the ship won't work if he's injured because, safety protocols or something. So he needed his unhurt self to unlock it again.
All right. So I'm going to ask a question. Again, I enjoyed the movie, so this isn't a criticism. It's just a question of curiosity. Also knowing that we live in 2022, was the technology too advanced for only being 2050?
Not if they unlocked time travel. It isn't.
True. Uh-oh. We lost JD. He must be run over by a train. I mean,
we want to stop here for a second and wait for the train.
I hit the wrong button. Yeah, let's
give it a moment.
Let's pause for a minute, see if he comes back.
It's 10 o'clock. Daylight savings time needs to go.
Yeah.
In our lifetime, it needs to go.
Do you know you've heard growing up that it's about farmers and saving energy and whatnot? No,
it was, right?
It has nothing to do with that. I looked up the history of daylight savings time. It was just because some a-hole wanted people to have more time outdoors and the like.
It was some kind
hey, he's
some kind of scam.
Yeah. What a show. Yes.
All right.
So
nothing.
We were talking about the technology.
I'll restate my question for the jury now that you've returned. Okay, we live in 2022, and I know how much of a jump technology has taken just from the year 2000. But do you think that maybe there were too many jumps in technology to 2050? And John has a really good point. They unlock time travel, so anything's on the table at that point.
I will take you back to 1910 when Orville and Wilbur Wright barely got a little piece of junk 10 feet off the ground in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Flash forward 50 years and we're walking on the moon.
True.
Even flash forward 30 years and they were already developing.
They split the atom.
Yeah. They went from that flimsy thing to jets. So,
the 20th century alone, the progress that was made was remarkable, and we're only 20 years into the 21st, and it's pretty dang impressive. So
look how fast the phones evolved, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, 10 years ago, I had an iPhone, but like 20 years ago, like a cell phone was a big thing, and then they became very little things. Remember when everyone had to have the littlest cell phone?
Oh my God, yeah.
Now you have to have the biggest.
Now I walk around with an iPad against my face. Like
that's where the boombox used to go.
Like we have mini computers in our pockets now, and it's been like that for a decade, right?
Yeah, I know, you're right. I mean, the computers we walk around with in our pockets are more powerful than the ones we use to get to the moon.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Now anyone can get to the moon with this, and thanks to Elon Musk, maybe people will. I don't think it's crazy to say that once you unlock time travel.
Hold on. I'm sorry.
I was making a joke.
I have to say this. Did anyone see, and again, I hate talking politics. Did anyone see that Elon Musk on Twitter challenged Putin to a wrestling match, and the stakes is Ukraine?
No. The immense ego on that man is just staggering. The problem with billionaires is they think they can do anything, including beat Putin's ass in a wrestling match. Which, by the way, I don't think pretty sure old man Putin whoop the shit out of Elon Musk. Maybe I'm wrong on this.
They would step into the ring and then Putin would pull out a gun and fire.
Yeah, we're talking about a former KGB agent here. I would not be challenging that man to hand-to-hand combat.
He'd be poisoned with polonium before he ever got in the ring.
For real. He'd have it like laced on his skin, so Elon Musk would touch it and he would like collapse.
And then Putin would sit there and go, I do not know what happened.
I know he's crazy, but it made me love the guy a little more. All right.
Now I have Tesla too. Like
back to the movie.
Tesla's another technology, like, electric cars.
Oh yeah, I know. He wants to put a satellite network in space so everyone can have free internet.
I like that. We'll see if that's real. Here's the thing. I think that any technology seems wild and out there until it actually happens. Yeah. And it becomes part of everyday life. Right. So it's not because like John's right. Once you unlock time travel, nothing's off the table.
Yeah. Okay. And you're right. I did forget to mention Jennifer Garner, who plays the mom of young Adam at that point in the movie.
And they all do such a good job.
Yeah, they're good.
Nobody was phoning it in on this one.
Everyone seemed to be having a lot of fun. Like Catherine Keener too. She's chewing some scenery as the villain,
which seems to happen a lot when Ryan Reynolds is on set. Everybody seems to have
fun. I bet he keeps it light.
Definitely, like it's weird, like the broken relationship between the son and mother because the father passed away. Like,
but that
all
happens.
felt. I'm saying it all felt believable. It worked. Like it didn't feel forced. I mean, and it's it drives the plot as well a little bit, but it's like, it was so good. Let's see what else. Okay, so we find out, yes, he didn't mean to come back to 2018, as John was alluding to. He hurt himself, or not 2018, 2022. He meant to go to 2018. He miscalculated the jump, ended up in 2022. Found his younger self because the technology, he was injured, and you have to use your DNA to activate your ship. And if you're hurt, it can tell you're hurt and won't let you fly.
All right.
Can we get that for cars? That if it can,
no kidding.
If it senses you're drunk, it won't let you drive.
They already have that, but you have to get it installed at court order. You have to breathe into a breathalyzer, and the car won't start.
And they don't do that in every state either, though. But yes,
right. Yeah.
But they should definitely.
So, while JD is choking,
dying,
to death,
choking on a taco.
Hey, the drink. I hate my tacos.
Can we we could skip around, right? Like,
yes.
First off, I like the bag of tricks. Like it's the what do they call that when you have a bag that you can pull anything out of just for plot points or whatever? It's like they could just pull out any technology out of there, and they pulled out the drone.
They're not really MacGuffins, are they? No,
no. There's an actual writing term for a off-screen bag that you can pull stuff out of. Like Deadpool has, I forget what the term is, but the thing is, like, they pull out all this stuff, and it's like, is this a lightsaber? No, it's not a lightsaber. Okay, it's a lightsaber. It's like, I mean,
it's a lightsaber, but it's not, because like you can use it as a lightsaber, but then you bang it on the ground, the energy shoots out from the thing and knocks everyone down around you.
Dare I say it's cooler than a lightsaber?
Yeah.
Shh.
Is that
Don't
because
take off the Star Wars fans? You know how rabid they are.
Is that because Ralph Reynolds was holding it? That's what. But no, it's
Deadpool with a lightsaber.
I'd watch it. I didn't watch it.
He's already got those swords that can cut through continuity, right?
Continuity, yes.
Yeah, so I don't think he needs a lightsaber. But yeah, I mean, they go here, they go there. They would finally manage to go back to 2018, but only after he met his wife, who had been. So they thought she was dead, and she had been on the planet for like 4 years. They had attempted to kill her, which is another really cool point. She just sat there and waited. She knew he'd come at some point, and so she watched his younger self, and well, there he is. So, and Zoe Saldana again did not phone this in. She was all in on this. It was good, and she wasn't in it for that long, but it was long enough to make an impression. I heard some reviewers that were like, they couldn't quite care about Adam's character because they didn't have any backstory or anything. They didn't do any like they compared it to Terminator, where in the Terminator movies you got a flashback of what was going on in there, but you didn't really see the future in this movie. But it didn't really need it.
The whole movie is about his life. Like that makes no sense.
Right. Well, the thing is, like, you got flashes of the future in the Terminator movies, and you saw the skulls and this and how horrible things were. And he's in the movie. He literally said, "Oh, have you seen her? Yeah. It's like that, only worse." But you never got to see that. But you didn't really need it because you were having too much fun watching the plot progress, which it does very steadily.
That's what I wanted to say. Like, this is a sci-fi movie. It deals with time travel, but at the same time, it's a very tight personal story about the main character, Adam. Like, it's about him and his relationship with his father and his relationship with the world because of losing his father. And it's like
his relationship with himself
and his relationship with
the
himself.
damage he's dealing with.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, think about all the money in therapy you could save if you go back and talk to your younger self.
Think of all the Bitcoin I would have bought if I could go back to talk to my younger self.
Well, exactly. Well, you know what? That's an interesting point too, right? Like that's a big. So the main villain, what's her face?
Catherine Keener.
Catherine Keener, but it's Maya is the character's name, and so she's chasing him down, right? She's the one that. He stole the plane to go back in time to stop the future from happening. And she went back in time and told her younger self, like, what companies to invest in to make money so she could have enough money to build up this empire, this time traveling empire. Which it's funny, like, that's the thing, like, that's the joke, right? Like, you'd go back and tell yourself to invest in Apple or Microsoft, or whatever.
Well, actually, the future had probably gotten worse because, again, like it was mentioned in the movie when she was talking to her younger self said, "When's the last time I saw you?" And the other one was like, months ago. It's like, well, if that's the case, then technically she went back, told herself to invest all these companies and get all this money and everything. And when she went back to the future, it changed and she was way more powerful at that point. Right. So it didn't really explicitly play up the time travel card and how cause and effect happens, but it did represent it tacitly very well.
Right. And I didn't spend a lot of time playing around with the idea of the cause and effect because that wasn't the point of the story. The point of the story was about, like I said, Adam dealing with his mother and his father and all of that. And there just happens to be a sci-fi element thrown on top of that. He's being hunted because he went back in time to save his wife, who went back in time and
never came back. And they
never came back, right? And and then because that's then when they do successfully go back to 2018 to stop her, they go to see their father, who's still alive in 2018 because he invented time travel. Thus, that's the Adam Project, for those who don't know at this point. He accidentally invented time travel, which I love that aspect of it too. Like, he was trying to create a what do they call that? Atom Smasher thing.
He was trying to create a wormhole. He was trying to create a wormhole.
Well, yeah, use that technology to create particle accelerator to magnetic, to use to create a wormholes, and but he didn't realize that it could be used for time travel at that point. But like they meet him, he realizes they're from the future. He realizes who it is right away, which I love that aspect. Like, your son, even as a man,
Well, also because he was a scientist and he could immediately accept that could be a possibility. But most people would be, do you look familiar?
But that's now the flip. That's the whole flip of the thing. It's like, he doesn't want to know anything about the future. Right.
That's what Doc Brown said too, but he taped that note back together again. I mean,
yes, but Doc Brown saved himself.
Yeah, I know.
He does not save himself. I think that's a nice play. I think that's what makes this work on a character level is you think there's a chance they can save their dad. Right. And the dad's like, no, I have to die. And it's okay. It was nice. I got, being father of a little kid, I got a little emotional.
Right. But at the same time, he's also saying, I have to die for you to become the man that you become. So if I don't die, that could change things in a bad way. Like he doesn't say it, but I think that's what he's saying. By like, don't tell me how I die. We're not going to change it. We can't change it. It's my fixed timeline, which felt like a Doctor Who-ism.
He played the absent-minded professor up pretty well, like not really good at anything in his mind, always in the clouds, and yet he was still human, trying to interact with his family.
Well, and there's a very great point of this movie makes about how our memories versus what really happens in the past, right? Like grown-up Adam is mad at his father because his father loved science more than he loved him, and yet young Adam reminds him, like, no, he would come home every night, no matter how tired he was, he would play catch with me.
Yeah, human memory is.
And he's saying, you're remembering it that way because it's easier for you to stay mad at dad than to remember the good times and be sad and miss him. And it's like, that is such an elegant point this movie makes. And it's like, it's so good. I love that scene, the two of them on the bench talking about it.
Like, I will always say that character is more important than anything with plot, right? Mm-hmm. If you give characters that you care about, that's what people remember more than anything. And this movie, I think, really delivered on it. Because I didn't really think about the science of it all. Because again, when I'm sitting, I'm good. I don't need any justification for science. I mean, I'm in. What makes this work though is how engaging Ryan Reynolds and his younger self are. Like this kid, he does a really good Ryan Reynolds impression without feeling like he's doing an impression.
Right. Superhero landing.
Yeah. Oh, that was the best.
I was like, oh God, yeah. They're going to put that in every movie now, aren't they?
No, he's like, you ready to get your ass kicked by a 12-year-old? And the guy just, no. Tosses it away. I was like, that's great, because that's what would happen. Like, it was really, there's so many little moments like that are really good, and so many great little character beat moments that really resonate. And you think about that character goes through a lot of trauma, right? Loses his wife twice, loses his dad early. He's got the literal world against him. Like, there's a lot going on, and it's but because of Ryan Reynolds' ability to be likable, right? Yeah. He still manages to keep it light. It's like I said, this felt like I was watching an 80s movie.
Oh yeah, God, in the 80s was like the perfect time for stuff like this. My Science Project, and
that's what I'm saying. Last Starfighter.
And like
Weird Science. Yeah.
Weird Science, yeah.
It's funny. I think we've talked about this on the show. I know Joey from So Wizard has talked about this on his show a lot. Like, it doesn't feel like they make movies like that anymore for young boys, really. I mean, young kids, anyone can enjoy this, but there are aspects of it that are geared towards, I feel, sci-fi is geared towards young boys, where it's Last Starfighter, The Goonies.
Last Starfighter is a classic. And I just realized they never.
And this movie is one of those, I think.
It is. And it's got its DNA all over those old, specifically 80s movies, like those 80s, sci-fi adventure movies. Flight of the Navigators, one I mentioned earlier.
Is this one of the first time travel movies where they never even bothered to explain how time travel worked?
You go through the wormhole. You open a wormhole.
Yeah, but not like every other time travel thing is like, oh yes, the flux capacitor or this, that, and they always do some kind of explanation. This one they didn't even bother, which is
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Like they tell you snippets here and there about like, oh, once I go back to my timeline, then my memories will readjust. Like he doesn't have any memory of going back to see him, but once he does see him and then goes back to his time, like things like that. But like, it's not in your face about it. They don't over science it, which is what makes it a good sci-fi movie, right? Like just enough to like make it interesting and fun, but that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is Adam.
Just give me enough to back up the bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, tell me, how does time travel work? Well, the flux capacitor manipulates time when you hit 88 miles an hour. Oh, okay.
That's how they used to play it in Stargate. They would be like, oh, how does this work? And Captain Carter would go, well, you see, you take this calculation, and then everybody would turn around and tell her to shut up. I mean, it's like, it was, I mean, they didn't really do it in this, but then nobody really like bothered to try to bring out the whiteboard to show how something works. So, and that's fine. You know, it's not like Star Trek where they're always doing technobabble. Is
Right.
You know, again, like
because
you would focus more on the characters.
Yeah, because that's the other thing too is the main character, and this is actually a good point as well. And I think any sci-fi writer should understand this aspect too. We mentioned everyone's got a computer in their pocket. Do you know how that works? No. You use it?
Basically, you know.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the average person just uses it. So Adam, who travels back in time, uses time travel. He doesn't fully understand how it works. He knows he creates a wormhole and flies through it. Like he knows he pushes buttons on his jet and flies through a hole. Like, so there's no need to ever have to explain it, you know, the mechanics of it, because like that's the whole idea. Like he probably doesn't know how it works, and who cares? So keep that in mind, sci-fi writers. People don't always understand the tools that they use. They just know how to use the tool. So
yeah, overall, like it was just, I don't know. Like I said, it was just fun to watch. A lot like Free Guy. I mean, I will watch this again just because, you know, it's kind of a nice escape.
All right. So first we'll say, I'll do the two questions. The first one, what's one or two favorite things about the movie? We'll start with you, John.
The kid acting a lot like a really young Ryan Reynolds. I mean, like the kid did a good job, man. You know, he's going to be another up and comer like that one from Ghostbusters Afterlife. And I don't know. The other thing is just, I mean, I like it when they just let Ryan Reynolds be Ryan. His stick hasn't gotten old yet, and I'm wondering if it will. You know, like he's been let loose ever since Deadpool, and everything he's been in, he's been, you know, he's been Deadpool or Ryan Reynolds Deadpool or whatever. And it just, you know, there wasn't any point in the movie where I got bored and pulled out the phone. And that's, you know, when I'm at home, that's a big indicator of how good it is, you know?
JD?
I really love the relationship between the father and the two kids, and the one kid, but it's two. It's at different phases of their life, because you think differently at 12 than you do at 40, right? And it's because sometimes it's easy to, when you're older, to look back at your childhood and see nothing but the mistakes that shape you into the problems that you are. But when you're a kid, you only see what's good. And it's nice to have both of those to complement each other. And I like how they got that through talking to the dad. That's like, it was that relationship with the three of them that was my favorite part of the movie, to be honest.
What a gift to be able to see that your son's going to grow up to be that kind of man, right?
Right. I mean, and I got emotional watching that part, you know, being a dad to a little boy, and, you know, with my son being little right now I cry at everything. So, I mean, everything is emotional for me. So like that got me.
Yeah. I had to say, and it's funny because I like it, but it might bring us down a little bit. The relationship between mom and Adam, after dad dies, like, because that's so true. You're two damaged people just trying to move forward in life. I can't imagine what it had been like if my wife had passed away when he was younger, you know, and still in school, because I can see that kind of stuff. Like he's going to be 20, you know what I'm saying? So he's able to talk about his emotions, and we can talk about stuff and get through it. You know, we have gotten through it, but like, I bet if he was little, we would never talk, you know, and it would just be, I could see it just rings so true, because you're just, especially when it first happens, you're just damaged and you're just trying to move forward, and you're not thinking about like, oh, this person needs to grieve and I need to grieve, and we both need to understand each other's grief and all that. So like, it was so true, you know, like it just worked for me. And again, just, and I kept saying it, it's the whole relationship between father and son, the effects of losing someone like that, and just, it was so good. It was really so good. Like, kudos to who'd you say wrote this?
Sean Levy was the filmmaker. I'm not sure who wrote it. Can look that up.
Written by Jonathan Trapper, T.S. Nolan,
and Jennifer
Flackett. Yes,
yep.
And Mark Levin as well. So kudos to the four of them. Very well written. Very, very well written. Yeah. And I liked the his wife Zoe Saldana having that little fort and like having stuff set up. I mean, I think she should have had a little more fortified, being from the future and understanding the kind of threat she might going up against. But the fact that like she was just like, you go, I'm ready for these guys. Like, I thought that was a good touch.
You know, it's really funny. Mark Levin and Jennifer Flackett are married. So
husband and wife team.
Yeah. Which could also help
explain why they understand
kind of thing.
Yeah. How they understand the emotions.
They wrote the Maze Runner series, which is a nice little YA book series adapted into film.
There you go.
Not great films, but good book series.
They're not for us.
Yeah.
They're not for us.
All right. So then I'll also ask, what's something you didn't like about the movie, John?
Not open for a sequel. No, seriously,
It's closed loop. It's a closed loop movie. Yeah.
Yeah, which is fine, because I always complain that they keep pulling from the same thing. But if they're going to do more, one-offs like this, and Ryan Reynolds is like, man, he's becoming some kind of powerhouse in Hollywood. Like he gets this done and Free Guy and like making them take chances on new ideas. I really like this. I don't know if there's more story. There's probably is. It doesn't seem like there's more story to tell because, like I said, it's a closed loop. So, but I other than that, I can't think of anything I really disliked about this movie. Okay. It just there are things I like about it. There are things that were just, hey, it's cool, but nothing nothing that I disliked.
How about you, JD?
Structurally, the movie feels like Act 2 ends with his wife's death, and then all of Act 3 is about Dad, right? So structurally, that's kind of weird to me, where you introduce major characters at the very end of the movie, like the very end, but like his wife doesn't get introduced till the climax of Act 1. Then she died. Then Act 2 is really about them, and then Act 3 is really about the boys with Dad. So it works, but I feel like the dad should have been introduced sooner. But it doesn't. But I don't hate it. But it's something that I'm like, I don't know if I like when movies do that, because it's like you're bringing the character in kind of last minute.
They could have made the movie longer, right?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't have an answer. Usually you'd want to have either the dad or the wife as a major character like that, but they didn't, so they went a different direction, and it works. But like I said, structurally it's a little wonky. But again, there's so much good character stuff that my criticisms are very minute,
and it fit the story.
It did. It worked. It was fine.
You'll see a lot of movies and a lot of even books that they'll pull from the same character because of that kind of criticism, even when it doesn't really fit the storyline, right? But in this, they moved on,
Yeah, you're not. Like I said, just the training and stuff tells me I'm not supposed to think like this. But
yeah,
here we are.
Yeah. I don't know.
Is it that hard to think of something you disliked about it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I kind of agree with JD. The father kind of felt like he should have been introduced earlier. Yeah, I do. It's funny because I already said that I understand why they did it for the plot, but you do feel like something. I kind of felt like with changing what happens and destroying the accelerator and the crystal drive, that would change his timeline and the father was going to live. I thought it was going to end with young Adam of the movie playing catch with his dad in his timeline. That's how I would it ended the movie. And so now everything's wide open. The future's wide open. Blah blah. And we don't know what's going to happen. But
they went Scooby-Doo, or they went mega happy ending instead.
Well,
mega happy.
It wasn't mega happy because the father still passed away.
Well, but I mean, they're okay though. Their mother and son relationship is repairing, and he still gets to meet his wife.
Yeah.
Right. So the timeline resets the way it was supposed to. That is the mega happy ending. Dad's supposed to. Him dying is what makes Adam into the person that he is.
Right. I was waiting for a reveal that the what's her face, the villain organized his death, cut his brake lines or something.
I thought that was coming too. I was surprised that wasn't what they did.
Yeah.
Which would have made sense, but I think it ended fairly well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
and that's the whole thing
we're
is
staring down the barrel of World War III. I'm good with a happy ending here. I mean, just
they like the whole point of repeating the scene where she's like trying to do the taxes, like to let you know this is the same moment
system.
being relived. It's the same system. So he is dead. Like there's no ambiguity in it. Yeah. So all right. Well, that's good. All right, let's go around the room, give our final thoughts, and give a rating. 1 out of 10 lightsabers.
1 out of 10 not lightsabers.
Not lightsabers. All right, John, you go first then.
Well, I just want to mention on Rotten Tomatoes, this got a 70% from the critics and a 79% from audience. So not bad.
Not bad.
I'm giving it a solid 8. Like I'm going to watch this again. I was really happy with it. So I don't have anything else to say. It's like you were saying, it's like one of those nice 80s movies that you can watch every once in a while that are, interesting enough to actually sit down and watch it all the way through because it's entertaining. And I think we don't have a whole lot of movies these days that are just entertaining, except from like Marvel. but you see the auteurs not liking that. They want deeper meaning, but entertaining's good.
Yes. And now we'll throw it over to the man who's always entertaining, JD.
Oh, thank you. I quite enjoyed this movie. My thought is to go 8, but I did have tears in my eyes at one point. So I'm going to bump it because like, if you get an emotional reaction out of me, I can put away a lot of my like quibbles with story structure and stuff like that. Cause you got what matters is emotion. So I'll go 8.5.
Wow. High praise indeed.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's fair. I obviously like, cause we just gave 9s to Batman last week.
Yeah. And this Batman was better than this,
Yes. The Batman was definitely better than this. I think, I'm gonna agree with you guys. I don't know if it's quite 8.5. I teared up a little, but I tear up a lot. I'm a wimp, so
me too.
So I will double John's score. I will go with an 8. Yeah, definitely. And if you haven't seen it, go see it. And I definitely think you can watch it if you got a young boy, you should watch it with him. I think it's.
We will. I will sit Andy down this weekend, and we're going to watch this together because I think he'll really enjoy this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's the Adam Project.
Just make sure that he practices superhero landing.
Oh, he'll be doing that. Believe me. We'll be walking the dog the next day. He'll be like superhero landing. I can see him doing it right now.
All right. You guys have any recommendations for our audience, John?
Like I had mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this on air because we had like technical issues. I watched Turning Red on Disney.
Oh yeah.
And I'd recommend that. Again, I mean that's something I'd probably give a 7.5 to, personally, because the beginning starts with a little bit of fourth wall break and narration that I think it could have done without, but then it drops all that behind and it goes with a pretty damn good story. I suggest that people watch that. And it's on Disney Plus.
Right.
Streaming for free on Disney Plus.
I think I will be watching that sometime this week.
Mm-hmm.
JD?
It took me 2 years on and off. But I finally finished The Dark Tower. I took a big break in the middle of Wizard and Glass because I just couldn't deal with people living in the world of The Stand during the pandemic. Right. And then I picked back up again last summer, and it was they're long audiobooks. So, I mean, like they're 28, 29 hours a piece. So it took me, it took me a little while to get through them because I just couldn't sit and do them all in one fell swoop. But I knocked the last one out over the last 2 weeks. And man, it was I got a little emotional at the very end. So I really dug it. This is my favorite book series ever, I think. And I loved it. I loved it a lot. The Dark Tower.
Cool.
Don't see the movie. Whatever you do not see the movie.
You're talking about the new one with Idris Elba, right?
Yes. Ron Howard fucking sucks, man. Akiva Goldsmith wrote a movie worse than Batman and Robin. He wrote The
Oh.
Dark Tower. He fucking
Okay.
sucks.
Are we talking glancing into the Ark of the Covenant bad? Like, that's what happens to your face when
No,
when you
John.
watch that
No,
movie?
no, John. No, John. We're talking about being bored out of your mind for an hour and a half because they're throwing so much stuff at you, and you know what kind of it is because you read these books, but none of it is landing, and it's all bad, and it's not even fun enough to make fun of.
Same difference.
Yeah.
That melts my face.
All right. Well, I will recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page, comic book reviews by our good friend D Square, and so much more. And I am going to recommend the movie that I saw that had Red in the title this week. If you haven't seen it yet, Red Notice, which is also on Netflix, starring, of course, Ryan Reynolds again, and The Rock, and Gal Gadot. So if you enjoy their acting, yes, and it's not as good as, I will say this, I don't think it was as good as The Adam Project. And it's funny because I think the difference is that's a movie Ryan Reynolds was hired to act in, where The Adam Project was a movie he was involved in producing. So, I think you can see the difference when you watch them.
Sometimes you got to get a paycheck.
Yep. Well, on that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for listening. Don't let you keep caught in the door. Have a good week.